Hi there, everyone. Gonna give you guys a few minutes to get filtered in here again on a Monday night, back live. I hope you all caught the recorded version last week while I was gone. We lucked out and got out of Green Bay with just before the really bad rain hit, so was thankful for that, but it was still a fun evening, and glad you all could be here tonight. I'm going to go over a couple things first while we wait for a few more people to show up. I have a couple Christmas card classes posted on my website, or on my Facebook page, I should say. I wanted to point out one of them here is with the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper. You're going to get one of each of these sheets, and it'll be cut in 4 pieces. So you'll be able to make 4 cards with each sheet. So it's a total of 24 cards. You'll also get a sampling of linen thread and some pearls. And I'll also cut out some various sizes of tags and circles and things like that you'd be able to put your verses into to stamp on your own. And then you'll see that when you get your package, you can see what fits them and you can add them to your card. So the idea is that they all fit up into a corner, and depending on which side of the Designer Series paper you use, it'll be a different corner. These will be mixed, you can mix and match. You'll get 2 bases with Sahara Sand, 2 bases with Cherry Cobbler, and 2 bases with the Mint Macaron, or Soft Succulent, I'm sorry. And then that'll be yours to just play with and design as you see fit. And 24 cards altogether, and it's only $45. So that's pretty good for your biggerly going a little over $1, or under $1 card there. So that's a pretty good deal. And you get your envelopes, of course. Then the other one is using the Gingerbread and Peppermint Designer Series paper. I took a piece of each pattern and designed a card around it, and the leftovers you'll get to play with on your own. So there's a couple different pieces in here, various sizes, but I'll do a quick layout. Any place you see the big white part is where you're going to fill in a verse if you have one. Okay, so here's a rough idea of what they look like. It's a mixture of Old Olive, Real Red, and white throughout, and then you have some sheets left over that have these really bold, big designs on them. You can be able to cut these pieces out and add them to your cards or add them to something else. You can make a whole bunch of other cards using these pieces, and of course there's also patterns on the back, so use those as you would for whatever you're doing. And you'll also get a little sampling of gold and silver twine and red rhinestones. So those will be used to dress up your cards once you get them. And like I said, any place you see the white squares or shapes or whatever, that is where you would put a verse in. And that card class is only $30. So if you want to pop over to the events page, and hi Mom, how are you doing tonight? Pop over to the event page, hit the button that says going. So usually you might see it and it might say interested. Just hover over that part until you see the going part, because you want to say going. Interested means maybe. Going means for sure. I have the RSVP dates on there. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but I think one is coming up near the end of this week. So if you want to get a jump start on your Christmas cards, that's a great way to do it. Alrighty, let's jump into making our card for tonight. Here's a little reminder of what you need. You're going to need cardstock. Your base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I'm going to be using Soft Succulent. And then you want another piece that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So again, Soft Succulent. Then you want another piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. Mine is going to be Bumblebee. Then you want 2 pieces of Designer Series paper that are each 1 by 4. And mine comes from the Harvest Meadow Designer Series paper. And then you wanted some kind of focal image that filled up a space of approximately 2 1/4 to 2.5 inches. All the way around. So, and that, take it as you want. It can be larger than that. It can, whatever it fits into nicely with what you're preparing. So you took some kind of stamped image or die cut image, maybe made a hi Tina, good to see you tonight. Maybe something cut out, that sort of thing. I actually did do that. I did a cutout. I just have a leaf that I got from a cutout of Bumblebee using my stitched leaf dies. So let me show you those real quick. What's kind of neat about these is that you can do outside shapes. So for example, here's the one I did. And if I just sent that through by itself, I would get just the outline of the leaf. All right, Karen, great. So glad you could join me tonight. Hope you're having decent weather down there in Florida. So like I said, you get the outline image only. These also coordinate with the Love of Leaves stamp set. So you could cut out just the leaf after you've stamped it. And then the really cool part is that they made this extra piece that adds the little stitched, what would you call that in a leaf? Is it called veining or something like that, right? The little lines that go through the leaves. You can add that onto something you've just cut out. And the great thing is that they fit together through your machine at the same time. So, hi Ruth, I'm so glad you made it live tonight. So that is the really cool part, is that you can run it through just one time and you get the stitching and the cutout. So that's a really, really cool feature. Love that. And again, those are in the annual catalog. So it's the stitched leaf dies. And then, like I said, they match the Love of Leaves stamp set. So it's got a variety of already shaded colors. So like you see, that's wherever you see it's a little lighter in this image, that'll be the exact same thing. Oh yeah, Groovy Ruth, I'm so glad you like it too. That'll show a little lighter with whatever ink color you use as well. And the fonts are really adorable. Love it. Oh, no humidity. That's awesome. That's the worst part of it, I bet. Sounds awesome, Karen. Send some of that nice cooler weather our way too. So there you go. Stitched leaves and Love of Leaves. Those are in the annual catalog. Stamp sets on page 115 and the dies are on 165. All right. Hi, Carol. Good to see you tonight. I actually had the privilege of seeing her in person today when I dropped off class materials to her. So that was really fun. I miss seeing you guys in person and hoping we can get back to that really soon. All right, so the first thing you want to do, grab that piece of cardstock. That's your 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 and your 2 pieces of designer series paper. And we're going to attach them into the corners, leaving the middle empty. Okay, so go ahead and run that adhesive. And again, my paper tonight is Harvest Meadow, which is in the mini catalog on page 55. I'm gonna make sure I was actually seeing what I was doing there. Alrighty. All right, there you go. Okay. If you want to be adding any kind of dimension into any of this, make sure you've got your dimensionals handy. I'm going to assemble my first one here with you guys pretty much all flat so you can kind of see how that looks. Oh, I didn't score my cardstock. That was silly of me. All right, so scoring on, you should have a score mark on yours, I hope, at 4 1/4 inches. So go ahead and give yourself a nice crease. There you go. All right, so there's your card base. And now, yes, Carol, it's going to be a fun pumpkin class. And as soon as that video is up, I will definitely show you what's all that fun metallic working with we did where is worth. All right, get my adhesive out there. All right, take your 4 1/4 layer, put it on 4 by 5 1/4 layer, I should say. Put it onto your card base. Okay. Oh yeah, Karen, it gave us heart attacks last night. I tell ya, Sam came out of his bedroom like twice to ask us if we could be quiet. And we went, no, we can't. It's just too exciting. All right, then you're gonna take this layer, put it in the center of that. Okay. And then this is gonna be a really quick and easy one, guys. Then you're just gonna take your focal image, whatever you created, and add it right in the center. So there you go. I will stick a couple glue dots on mine, I think. And like I said, I'm assembling this all completely flat just to show you what that looks like. And you absolutely could add dimension in lots of different ways. You could have popped up this layer. You can pop up your focal image, whatever you want there. Okay. So like I said, this one's super quick and easy. Again, good use of your scraps of DSP. You could also do this with other colors of cardstock. Doesn't have to be designer series paper, but I always like letting something pretty like that do the work for me. All right, so let me show you. First of all, this is where I got the idea from. Oh, it's a little dark. There we go. This was a swap I received from Beth Tetzloff, and she used the pine cone set from the mini catalog. And if you can see, actually I'll take it out so you can see it a little bit better. She also embossed the 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 layer with the timber embossing folder. Hopefully you can see some of that edging. And if you remember, a couple years ago, we had another embossing folder that looked a lot like this. It was a wood grain, but I found for sure, it tended to really break up the fibers of my paper and it almost like came apart. This one does not do that. It's awesome. I love the detail. It's very, very detailed. But again, it doesn't, your cardstock will remain all intact, which is a really nice, you always want that to be happening. The timber embossing folder is in the mini catalog on page 37. All right, so thank you, Beth, for giving me that inspiration. All right, let's take a look at some other ones then while you guys are, you're probably all done because it was lickety split, right? I keep going back to my cute Halloween suite. I love, love, love these cute little pumpkins and kitties and bats, and oh my gosh, they're so adorable. And I love the little flash of purple that they threw into this one, and pink. It's really kind of a fun idea. So I changed it up just a little bit. I didn't do the same coloring for this background. I kept it the slate to have it more neutral there. So it's black and pumpkin pie and smoky slate. And then I used my punch to punch out a pumpkin from the designer series paper, so I didn't have to do any stamping there. So the only stamping I did is the You Put a Smile on My Face that I put onto my punch shape from Label Me Pretty. And then I added the little stars, the star sequins. That whole bundle you can find on page 37 of the mini catalog. All right, now this is actually Christmas designer series paper, but you would never guess it by looking at what I did. This is the Whimsy and Wonder designer series paper, and that is on page 25. And one of the sheets has this really cool striping pattern, and one of the sheets is a whole bunch of presents. And now some of them do have, like this has a little bit of mistletoe, but I'm hoping you don't really notice that. But some have like poinsettia leaves, so some of them definitely look more Christmassy. I tried to pick the ones that look the least Christmassy. And this is the Polished Pink, which is one of the new ink colors. It's really bright and chipper. And let's see, what else did I use? I used the bark embossing folder on this layer. And then, like I said, I cut out a couple, just fussy cut some presents. And this phrase actually comes from Brew Some Fun. It's one of the coffee sets that goes with the styrofoam cup collection that we have in there. And that's on page 33 of the annual catalog. So that word, Winter and Whimsy, wow, Whimsy and Wonder, there we go. Whimsy and Wonder designer series paper has some really fun non-traditional Christmas colors. You're going to find Misty Moonlight, Blushing Bride, this pretty pink, succulent, evergreen, so quite a variety of different colors throughout. And then there's also pops of metallic that are on some of them. So for example, this one is also from that same collection. This is one of the back sides, so it's looks very just plain mint, but if you can see in the tree, there's little silver accents that are kind of showing up. So I fussy cut a tree. There are actually dies that would do that, but I don't have the die set. I just got the designer series paper. And whoops, you could fussy cut some of those out. It was really easy because it's just a little jaggedy edge around. It wasn't too detailed. I added a little silver star that I punched out and then some rhinestones to it. And I used one of the metallic silver foil sheets to hide back there. And again, I wanted to point out that when you're going to use a big piece of something like this, especially on one that's kind of a specialty paper, you know, you only get a couple in a package, you really don't want to let any of that go to waste. So I took my punch that has all 5 stars on it and a couple other shapes, and I put it in as far as I could, and I punched a whole bunch of shapes out of the middle of that piece because I knew it was going to get covered up. So now I have some fun accents to use for something else, and I didn't feel like my paper was going to waste, because you definitely don't want to waste all that pretty paper. All right, and now I will show you the stepped up version of what I just did on camera. All right, so this time I definitely have more dimension. I did dimensionals under that layer. I did dimensionals under my leaf, and I think that's all for the dimension part of it. This time I actually stamped the leaf before I cut it out and did the stitching on it. I added bumblebee gingham ribbon to the back. I did a phrase on this one and added it kind of like a little banner. And what else is on here? Oh, I also did that timber embossing folder then on that layer right there. Okay, so there you go. That's the regular and that's the stepped up. Both of them absolutely lovely. So I hope you guys enjoyed this layout. Wanted to remind you again, the celebration is only available now for a few more days. It ends September 30th. If there's anything in that little catalog that you want to get your hands on, you definitely want to get that order in by then. I will say though, the sheep dies and all that glitters paper are already sold out. But if there's anything else in there that you had your heart on, make sure you get those, or heart set on, make sure that you get those orders into me so I can get that to you and you don't miss out on the freebies. And again, visit the events page to look at those Christmas card classes I mentioned at the beginning of the video. If you have any questions on anything, leave a message, comment, whatever, under the video when it posts, and I'll be happy to answer. And make sure you share what you made tonight. You can post it directly there or send it to me, whichever you like to do. All right, I think that's it. And I also feel like I talked a mile a minute tonight, so hopefully it wasn't too quick. I've been doing that lately. It sort of feels like, you know, just really, really speedy. All right, guys, have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you next Monday. Take care.